Thank you guys very much. You guys are the true warriors out here that stuck it out through the last session, so I very much appreciate that. I'm going to touch on a bunch of different things today across the offensive side of the ball, from a little bit of offensive theory and some thoughts on your RPO game to how we coach the quarterback at Reedley. And so I'll just get rolling with it. So Reedley College, we're a junior college out in Central California, and so it's a good place to be. It's a good situation to be. We're a unique situation because we're one of the only junior colleges in California that has dorms. So we pull guys from across the United States. There's a handful of guys playing at different places right now. The big name is Josh Allen, who's going to be supposedly going to be a first-round pick coming out here. The one caveat is he was there before I got there. So, I know my quarterback stuff would be a lot more influential if I told you I coached Josh Allen, but I'll be honest with you up front. So that's kind of my coaching arc right there. I've been extremely fortunate. 2 San Antonio conventions ago, I was a high school coach trying really hard to get a college job, and I've been very fortunate I was able to get at Panhandle and kind of progress from there. But I've worked for a lot of people, both at my high school, at Panhandle, and other places that I've learned a lot of good football from, and that really helped me develop. And also being a young guy, taking some tougher jobs, you really have to learn how to problem solve and find your own solutions. And so, there's different ways to go about this business if you're a GA, different things like that. But, for all you guys that are high school coaches or assistant coaches, maybe in lower level colleges, one of the best things about that is you get a lot of autonomy, a lot of opportunity, a lot of influence, those different things where you're the one that has to find solutions. And so that's been very beneficial throughout my career. Here's kind of what we're going to roll through today. So without further ado, hit the next slide for me, Coach Mooney. Coach Mooney is my defensive coordinator, and he's a PowerPoint aficionado. So number one thing, if there's anything I believe in, I know I'm right on, right? We all go back and forth about how to run inside zone, whatever else, but execution is king, all right? It doesn't matter what you do. There's a million ways to skin a cat, but we've all got beat by wing T teams. We've all got beat by spread teams. If a team does it well and executes at a high level, that's all that matters in the game of football. So there's basic tenets to being sound. I'm not saying you can't be sound, but like being sound is, you can't sit here and tell me that we're going to block 7 guys with a 10 personnel inside zone. We're going to be out of hats. You can't run curl flat into cover 2. The corner's going to sit on the out route, and the hook the curl player's going to push underneath the curl, and you got a dead football play. So of course there's elements of being sound, and that's a different conversation versus the stylistic, how do we run a curl route or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, execution is king. It's the only thing that matters in this game. It's what separates wins and losses on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. So just some visual examples of that, right? We all run curl flat. How do you run your curl flat? Do you run it with a snag? Do you run it with a speed out? Do you run it with an arrow route? Is it a straight curl? Is it a post curl? At the end of the day, you and I can all go back and forth about our preference, what we think is most effective. But if your kid can get to a spot and get open and your quarterback can read it out and your O-line can protect it and you can throw and catch it, you're going to be a good football team. If you can't do that, you're not going to be a good football team and a good offense. So what matters at the end of the day is execution. Also, I'm going to say execution about 2,000 times. By the end of it, you're probably going to hate me, but we'll keep rolling. So ignore the noise, the NFL Live. I say, NFL Live talk radio BS, right? So you turn on, NFL Live is my least favorite show in the world. I hate talk radio because you sit on and all they do is give opinions. They never show a clip of film. They got out-schemed. I don't know what that means. They wanted it more. Play calling's too predictable, et cetera, et cetera. When Stanford's a top 10 program, we rave about how they're going to run power down their throat and everybody knows it, right? When Stanford's not playing maybe at the top of their game, people are saying, oh, their offense is too predictable. It's one and the same. It's your ability to execute. Pete Carroll had a quote a couple of years ago. They asked him about the 4th and 1 play in that USC game. Would you rather give? I think they give it to Lendell White. Would you rather give the ball to Lendell White, Reggie Bush in that 4th and 1 with the national championship on the line? That's NFL Live talk. That's a fan's perspective. That's talk radio. Pete Carroll's a football coach, and Pete Carroll says, no, I wish my left tackle would have made a better down block on the play, and that's execution, right? So how the players in public learn to see football is very different than how we as coaches need to see it. I would say one thing I've learned as a young coach, I never, ever, ever talk to my guys after a game about any sort of performance factors. I tell them I love them. I tell them I'm proud. You can obviously judge effort for the most part. You competed hard, et cetera, but I'm never going to make judgments on who played well after a football game. Even in post-game press conferences, you see the media ask questions. I would say put 22 guys in a 50 by 50 area, give them all a pre-assigned job, tell them to run around like crazy for 5 seconds, and then tell me who was right and who was wrong. Right? It's impossible. A fan can't see it, a coach can't see it. That's why we got to go back and look at the film 3 or 4 times. So the game's hard to understand live, so it leads to generalities like they got out-schemed, they wanted more, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the day, as coaches, it's our job to make the game tangible for our players, and that's why we have to understand, again, that execution is king. So, if execution is tangible and skill-driven, and I apologize on the PowerPoint, we're all caps at times, we're not all caps, bear with me on that. It's important for coaches and players to understand that if execution is tangible and skill-driven, we can coach it, right? And so people talk about football like it exists in the ether. Oh, that quarterback just got hot, or that running back's so good, we can't do this, that, and the other thing. Well, when you deconstruct it, and we break that down as assignment, technique, effort, those things that lead to execution, well, now you can develop it and coach it. All right, so, from the national championship game, Alabama wanted more on that last play. Alabama out-schemed. Alabama from just looking at it a couple times, looked like they're in cover 2. There was no one in the flat. The corner probably should have got a little more of a reroute on number 1. Safety was late getting over the top, and they get beat on a go ball. There's not one coach on Georgia's staff that would be saying, oh, our kid just didn't want enough. They'd be sitting there saying, technically our corner didn't take a good rep, our safety didn't take a good rep, and as a result, you had that critical play. And so again, it all comes down, take all the emotion out of the game, it all comes down to execution. Examples, right? So we play a good amount of one high cover 3. If defensive coordinator's worth a darn, they're going to run what at you if you're a one high cover 3 team? They're going to test you with 4 vert. And so just understanding it's all about execution. If you're a good defense, your corners are going to play at 70-30, your safety is going to get off the hash, your alley players are going to collision and carry a little bit, your hook to curl players are going to get a drop and force a tight window, right? So from a defensive standpoint, we have a way to defend cover 3. Of course, we have other answers. We can get to too high stuff. We can play man. We can do other things. But we can defend 4 vert playing cover 3. And from an offensive standpoint, we're saying we have a way to beat cover 3 by running our 4 vert, right? Both coordinators think they're right. And so, again, it just comes down to who can execute it better. Can the defense make the windows small enough that the quarterback and receivers can't execute? Or are those windows big enough and that offense is talented enough that they can execute? Hit the next slide, please, Coach. Same thing. Inside zone, 11 personnel versus 6-man box. Offensively, we're saying, hey, this is a great look for us. We love this look. We're going to watch the thing, slice the backside, get in a little cutback lane. This is a heck of a look for us. Offensive coordinators saying, guys, this is what we're running this week, right? And so if we do it right, this is what it should look like. Well, we wash it, we get in that cutback lane, we read the nose, we kick out the end, and we're off and running. Next slide, please. Versus the defense, we'd be saying, hey, and that tackle goes down, you got to get underneath that thing, you got to spill that kick-out block. You cannot get kicked out and spill that thing to the alley, and we got a dead football play. So this is what it would look like, right? That end beats the H, gets underneath it, and now you have a dead football play. So understanding that the D coordinator's right, the offense is right, we have to get our kids we have to develop their ability to execute our scheme. Execution's king. It's the only thing that matters in this game. So we talk about teaching in concentric circles. So concentric circles, you throw the rock in the pond, you get all the rings, right? So it's understand that the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your core group of offense, defense, special teams, whatever it is. But we're talking offensive ball. So the fewest things you need to move the ball, score points, and win football games. And that's what you start with is your offensive package. All right, boil it down. Say these are the things we absolutely have to have. It might be 1 run play. It might be 2 run plays. It might be 1 quick game concept. It might be 2. It can be really, really basic. We're going to start with this and make sure we have this installed by week 1, and we're good at it. And if that's all we get to, that's all we get to. But these are the things we have to get done as an offense. And then once mastery is demonstrated, then you can start getting to some other things. So I'll give you a couple visual examples here. All right, so the green circle's the minimum, right? This is our first circle. Once we get this down, once we look good doing this, once we've demonstrated the ability to execute these elements of our offense, base formations, base runs, passes, screens, we can add additional formations. We can begin to tempo people. We can add another pass concept. We can put in our counter play, our play action play. And once we get those things done, now we got some situational stuff. Here comes the jumbo package, our motions, our shifts, quarterback sneaks, and then we get all the way out there, here's a weekly ad or a trick play, but understanding that we may never ever get to the yellow or the red or even the white areas, but we better get darn good at that green area. All right, so run game. For us, if all we can do is run inside zone read, one back power read, and put a simple RPO on the outside, we'd survive. All right, and then once we get good at that, we'll expand on out. But again, with understanding the mindset of we are teaching in concentric circles, and we're going to make sure that we demonstrate mastery before we work out. Here's the pass game, same concept there. Go ahead and hit it for me, Coach. So one thing we've worked really hard at Reedley, and so, depending on your familiarity with junior college football, but we're all coaching the same kids. Guys from different situations, different backgrounds, different expectations. Maybe, like I was talking about, maybe they understand that it's about execution. Maybe they think you lost the game because you're a terrible play caller, despite the fact that they ran the wrong route 3 times on third down, And so we have to get them to understand, 1, what good football is and isn't, and 2, how the heck they get on the field. We have to make that tangible for them because we all know we deal with the kid. Coach, why am I not playing? Coach, why am I not starting? Oh, well, just keep working hard. Good things will happen. That's not going to address that issue. That's also not going to give kids building blocks to progress. So getting them to focus on the things that actually matter, execution, and a lot of times these kids have no idea what matters. I get O-line film sent to me all the time from really good offensive linemen, and it's a collection. The first 10 plays are them just holding and tackling kids behind the football play because they think that pancakes are the end-all of offensive line play. I don't want to see you holding some guy and tackling him and assaulting him behind a football play. I want to see you roll someone out on a base block. I want to see you get out in a pass set and lock down, not some slap, because we all know the worst defensive players get pancaked. You're never going to pancake an elite defender. You're going to win the rep. You're going to get something done. But so guys don't understand what a good rep is and what a good rep isn't. And so we have to teach that to them. And we have to make sure, one thing I've learned at being at junior college, we have to have an orientation for everything. From how you go to class and pull out a pen and paper and a notebook, to what you should wear, to how you study in a meeting, to how you practice, all these different things. If you never, ever assume that your players are going to have these basic skills. So we have to teach it, right? We boil down execution. Like I said, assignment, technique, effort. These are the three things we grade, and then we also grade win-loss, because despite what people want to tell you, football is a competitive game. It's an awesome game. It's a man's game. It is an opportunity. Like Harbaugh's got the quote. I'm going to butcher it, but football is one of the last bastions of toughness and manhood or something like that in America. I didn't do great with that one, but football is such an awesome game, and it's such an opportunity for young men to develop and demonstrate toughness. Not foolish toughness, not I'm hurt, but go out and be tough and do tough things. Get up early, work hard, all those different things, and it's about winning and losing reps. So we get kids all the time that are struggling to get on the field for us. Coach, well, I know I don't know all my plays, but there is no but. We stole the BCD, don't blame, complain, defend stuff. What I found, especially in today's day and age, is kids love to marginalize their mistakes, but it's the old plank in your eye, the speck in the other guy's eye. They love to marginalize their mistakes, and so we have to be able to communicate the things you need to do better to get on the field. So here's how we've broken it down. We've had a lot of success. If you take one thing away, this is probably it. So we break it down. How do you get on the field at Reedley, and how do you become a good to great player? Well, first thing, you're on the roster. Congratulations, you're playing college football. We gave you a roster spot, a helmet, and a number. All right, that's an accomplishment within itself. But you haven't proven anything yet. We get all the time when a guy's not playing early in the season, and we recruit a lot of good players that come in and don't play. That's the nature of college football in general, at every level. The minority, they always see the outliers, the freshman that's playing being great, but the majority of guys go sit, and it takes time to develop and adjust to the next level. But the point is, Coach, have you seen my high school film? Of course we've seen your high school film. That's why we recruited you. But what you did at the previous level has no bearing on what you have to prove yourself. Every time you climb levels, change teams, whatever, you have to prove yourself, relearn the system, everything else. I use the analogy with the kids. Do you think Heisman Trophy winners getting cut in the NFL are walking into their pink slip meetings like, Coach, I know you're about to cut me from the roster, but did you not see my college film? I'm a Heisman Trophy winner, coach. You don't want me on this team? You're not going to start me? So that's one. Understand you're on the roster. That's level one. You're at the ground floor. Level two, prove you want to play. Prove you want to be a college athlete. You do this, being on time, being where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do. And then learning our schemes. Taking notes in meetings. Studying on your own. Doing the things you need to do just to learn our basic schemes and techniques. That's step two. Level three, win a rep, make a play. Guys will show flashes all the time. Show us that you can make a play for us at our level. That's step three. And now, if you want to be a starter for us, and if you want to be an all-conference, a big-time player, have a chance to go to Division I, all those different things, now you win reps consistently, snap in, snap out 90% of the time, because that's what elite players do. And if you want to be the starter, you want to be the guy around here, these are the things you need to focus on, the tangible steps, so you can get where you want to be, not just, hey, keep working hard. Be patient. Yeah, it's all those things, but these are the things you need to show us that you can do. So flipping the page here, what are you getting out of your quarterback? So talk about a quarterback-centric offensive design. So I've coached a lot of different things in my career, which has been huge for my development. My first year at Reedley, I coached the offensive line, which was one of the best experiences of my life. It's a great growth opportunity. I enjoyed it. Offensive line so technical, and it stressed and challenged me as a coach. Offensive line is the most important thing on the field, but you have to have a plan for what you're getting out of your quarterback, and you have to find a way to make your quarterback a plus player. So what he can give you determines what you should be doing on offense. And our offense is a wide spectrum. I mean, we have the stuff we call our system, everything else, but depending on who we got from any year to year, it might look like this or it might look like this. And I'm assuming that's probably the way most of our offenses are designed, right? We have some flexibility there. So what he determines means is what you can do, but you have to find a way to make him a plus player. Don't be afraid to abandon convention and just play with the traditional quarterback back there, hand the ball off and throwing some quick game. So here's the questions. You have a conventional quarterback. What level can he execute your quick game? Drop back. What level can he throw RPOs and make good decisions and deliver an accurate football read to a second-level defender? And if it's not a level that's high enough to allow you to win games, if he's not going to be an all-conference plus player for you, really consider to going with more of an unconventional plus one system. And when I say plus one, it's any form of QB run. So it might just be quarterback power. It might be, Army, Navy, under center, triple option, zone read, power read, or it might be the single wing. All right, but the math gets real good. We'll talk about that in a minute. Guys, so what your quarterback can do determines what you can do. The highest level of football is the single wing. The highest level of offense is the single wing. Like Clemson, I got a list of guys up there. They're all single wing teams. Deshaun Jackson's carrying the ball 25 times in the national championship game against Alabama. They're a single wing offense. Now, the downside to running your offense like that is you pray to God after every play that, of course, your quarterback gets off the ground. The lowest common denominator is also single wing, right? So the game I always will go back and look at is Baylor plays North Carolina. They're down to like their third or fourth string quarterback. They play their fourth string quarterback or third string quarterback. They play a backup receiver. They play 4 or 5 different running backs at quarterback. They're all single wing. They throw a few vertical shots through a few perimeter screens, but they force North Carolina to defend their formation, and they rush for 500 yards with no quarterback. All right, so again, if you have an elite guy that can run and pass it, you think about going single wing. If you have nobody, find an athlete and think about going single wing. Spectrum of throws and reads. So again, when we start building the system for our quarterback, well, the easiest throw in the book is any form of perimeter screen. That's the easiest throw in the book. Then after that, it's the fade ball. Okay, quick game, boot, sprint out, drop back, then play action. So especially if you're playing with an athletic quarterback who's not a pure passer, or a natural thrower, or even a great thrower, these are the spectrum of throws, especially those first 3 or first 4, that if you give them, they're going to have a chance to have some success with. And so the last thing is not necessarily tied to this. It's just a little caveat, something I figured out over the years. Just because you love a pass concept doesn't mean, or understand a concept, if your quarterback doesn't, it's not worth anything. I can't tell you how many times over the years we've run a concept for 3, 4, 5 weeks all through the summer. I love it. It's open all the time. It makes so much sense to me in my eye. It's a great look this week, but the quarterback, it doesn't fit his eye. It doesn't suit him. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't like it. He doesn't feel comfortable with it. Throw it out. Coaching the quarterback. So this is kind of in my wheelhouse right here. And yeah, so I was a quarterback. I was a very average high school player. I got to Chapman University, Division III school, and quickly realized that my skill set was so far away from even allowing me to play at a Division III school. And so I really had to totally turn my game around. I changed my mechanics, everything I did, how I worked. I had to transform everything just to get on the field. And so I think that really kind of helped me understand the process of getting through some of this stuff. And I've spent a lot of time researching it over the years. So these are the things we're going to roll through when it comes to coaching the quarterback. How are we doing for time? Perfect. So I call these the 5 elements of elite quarterback. And we're not talking about high school Pop Warner. We're talking about Brady, Breeze, Manning, the guys that do it at the highest level. These are the 5 things. So these are the 5 things that the best quarterbacks in the world are doing. These are the things we need to make sure we're developing into our kids. All right. So number 1 is the pre-snap process. And so I'll let you read that on your own. But the pre-snap process, the best quarterbacks are elite at the pre-snap process. Now, no college quarterback should ever come out early. Ever. Now, if it's a money grab, go for it if you need the money. But the best quarterbacks in the world, what have Brady, Breeze, I think Phillip Rivers, I'm totally blanking on my Brady, Breeze, Rodgers, all those guys, Peyton Manning, all those guys played 4 years of college football. All those guys had 700, 800 college passing reps. It takes reps to really develop high-level pre-snap ability. The analogy when you're trying to develop that in the kids and their situational awareness is the first Born Identity movie, right? So in the first Born Identity movie, I'm sure you guys probably watched it last night, he's trying to figure out who he is. He's sitting at the cafe with old girl, and he doesn't know anything about himself, but he turns and he says to her, I know that the guy at the counter is 6'2", left-handed, 220, and knows how to handle himself in a fight. I know where all the exits are. I know the best place to find a gun is outside in that truck, and I know I can run for a minute, sprint for a minute straight before I run out of breath or something like that. That's the awareness that elite-level quarterbacks have and what we need to try and develop into our kids. Secondly, the ability to see accurately, completely, and without distraction from the pocket. Some guys have it, some guys don't. You can coach it, you can develop it. One of the big things, emphasize and move in the pocket to find vision lanes. Regardless of how tall your quarterback is, I guarantee he's not seeing over anybody. There are a ton of quarterbacks in the NFL playing at 6'2", with 6'5" linemen wearing helmets in front of them. Nobody's seeing over anybody. You see through lanes, you throw through lanes. All right, and I'm a firm believer that height doesn't dictate your ability to see, despite what people say. Batted passes aren't a real thing because people are seeing and throwing through lanes. But some guys get back and the rush doesn't bother them. The field makes sense, and they have that innate ability with vision, and you can develop a little bit, but that's another thing. The ability to work through a progression, get the ball out of your hands quickly, decisively, correctly. 4, the ability to consistently deliver the ball to open receivers with functional accuracy. 5, the ability to protect the football, minimize turnovers. Shameless plug time. I actually wrote a book on all this stuff. It's on Amazon, but if you just want to email me, I'll send you the PDF. I got like 6 copies there for anyone who wants to grab one. I just wrote it because I had a bunch of thoughts. I really enjoy the stuff, but I would love your feedback on some of that stuff. So let's talk pre-snap responsibility from the quarterback. Okay? You set the tempo, you run the show. I use the analogy of a sled dog. The quarterback is the lead dog. If the lead dog's running, the pack's running. If the lead dog is not running, everyone's standing still. Whether it's between first and second down or whether it's routes on air at practice. So if you want to get yelled at by Coach Marty as a quarterback, the fastest way to do that is we say, hey, routes on air, outside guys got hitches, let's get some balls in the air, and our quarterbacks are standing there talking to each other. Because if they're talking to each other, nobody else on the field is getting the drill going. If the quarterback's saying, hey, outside hitches, on one-on-one, set, go, the drill's going to be going. Because quarterbacks have to understand that they are the lead dog, and they're the one responsible for driving the tempo. All right, get the formation, play call, communicate at an alpha level. There's a Matt Ryan clip from one of the last games of the year. The mic catches him. He sees 2 receivers that aren't set out there, and he's trying to get a motion call, and you hear him scream, get effing set. And I will show that to every one of my quarterbacks that ever plays. That is alpha level communication. And high level quarterback plays communicate like an alpha. They're in control, they have vision, they fix issues, and they're in complete control of their offense. And so you really have to coach that into guys. Start the cadence. I'm huge on that. So we call a protection runner pass and then give the cadence in the cadence. But if you say the cadence as a quarterback, everybody gets lined up. If you say get set, nobody gets set. All right, so for, hey, Liz Organ, Everyone's going to get set. Hey, get set. No one's going to move. Start the cadence, and then see what you need to say, and get your eyes right and snap the football. So RPO thoughts and considerations. You're giving 16 to 22-year-old kids with varying levels of experience and varying work ethics the keys to your car, the opportunity to make decisions. If you trust that kid, it's a great thing. If you don't, you might want to think long and hard and check some things from the sideline. All right, guys have to understand how many players they can block on a given concept. The next thing, what's the strength of your offense? Are you great at running the football? Well, that means if numbers are even inside, you're giving the ball. Are you not very good at running the football and you got some talented receivers and you trust them? Hey, if we got even numbers, we got blockable numbers on the perimeter, we want to get the ball outside. So you have to give your kids parameters and guidelines and make things very, very tangible if you're going to give them the keys to the car. The best perimeter screens teams catch the ball at or beyond the line of scrimmage. All right, so like peak Baylor football, they are so good at catching their now screens at 1 yard. They're catching their bubble screens right at the line of scrimmage, and it's so much, if you apply one thing to your perimeter screen, push the line of scrimmage. Because kids will want to bubble, they want to do the big bubble. Now they catch the ball at -5, everybody rallies, versus you catch that ball at 0 yards and you get upfield, it's going to turn 10-yard gains into touchdowns. Not throwing the ball 50 times a game, quarterbacks got to understand RPO is not about just getting the ball in the air. All right, we are not an RPO team at all. We attach a perimeter screen to basically every run play we have, but we're not an RPO team at all. We are a team that allows our quarterback to audible in real time. That's what's so good about 1-high, 2-high systems, RPO systems. It used to be you'd walk up, when I was playing, it was stay kill, or we'd have a flip call, they're overloaded this side, so we're going to check the play the other way. We don't make a quarterback check, and I had my guys doing that a few years ago in both run and pass, and it was just paralysis by analysis. Like, is that safety coming down? Maybe we're just playing a team that can't get lined up. So now we allow them to audible in real time, but we are not an RPO team by any stretch of the imagination. We're just building options in to make sure that we're not running the football into bad looks. All right, so here are, hit it, coach, run game responsibilities. We have 2 for our quarterback. 1, protect numbers. Okay? Your number 1 job as a quarterback in our offense is to protect numbers. When we call a run play, we want to run the football, but we never want to run it into a look that we can't block, to a free hat. And 2, punish defenses who can't line up correctly. These are the only 2 parameters that I give our quarterbacks when it comes to their responsibilities in the run game. And so especially teams that don't line up correctly, where is number 2 or number 3 coming from, the first free hat against the RPO? So let's take a look at a few of them. So we have 2 types of run plays. I'm going to speed through this stuff. Non-QB run plays, non-QB read run plays, so power, inside zone where we're blocking the 4 down. And then we have QB read run plays, inside zone power read. The first, you can read a defender pre and post snap. The second, obviously, you're only going to throw a pre-snap RPO. So if I'm reading inside zone, I can't sit there and key a perimeter. I got to read the end, and so I have to make a decision. Pre-snap, I'm throwing an RPO because I don't like the numbers, because they're not lined up, whatever it may be. So here's our power. So this is a play where we're going to key a perimeter defender and protect numbers versus, go ahead and skip to the next, just keep going. Versus our power read now, where we're going to read the end, and the only RPO option we have is throwing a pre-snap. All right, go ahead, coach. So, keep going. All right, so just to give you a quick understanding, our rules of our RPO game, and we do some different things, but if you're attached, you're going to block. If you're a single receiver, you're going to run a hitch. And if you're a 2 or 3 receiver open side, you're going to bubble. All right, really, really simple. We have other tags, but if we just call our inside zone 10, that's what they're doing. So just buzz through these. That's what it looks like. Next one. Next one, next one, next one. So just to give you an idea. So now, next thing becomes, when you start getting formations before the season, how do we want to attack each one? Hit it, coach. So if we're getting cover 2 high shell, 4 front against our 11 purse, we want to have, it's all about how many defenders do they allocate. To the right, I got 3 for 2, so unless that Sam's cheating way inside, we have no interest in throwing that. Over here, we got 2 for 1 on the backside. I have no interest in throwing that football. All right, so we have to make sure we give our quarterbacks clear parameters. Next one. Now we get a 1-high look. Well, if you really want to get good at it, yeah, you can practice and execute against this look, but for us, we're not going to mess with that. The only guy we're really worried about is this Sam right here, because if he gets in the box now, this becomes the matchup we need to attack. All right, and so this becomes protecting numbers, especially if we're running power right here. We know that we got 6 for 6 in the box. Our quarterback has to understand this is the guy that is going to dictate whether or not I need to throw that hitch in the boundary. Okay? So 3-by-1 versus 2 high, obviously where's number 3 coming from? First off, always look at the backside hash. There's that safety sitting there, 2 for 1. I have no interest in getting the ball over here. Where's number 3 coming from? That's safety from depth, or it's that Mike, pre, post snap, whatever the particular play is. You might want to think about getting that ball to the perimeter, quarterback. 1 high bounce, same type of deal. Where's number 3 coming from? Do they walk him way out? But I also have to be alert to what this guy's doing if we can't block him. Now, 3-by-1, they go ahead and roll it. Obviously, this becomes a dead look over here. They have 3 for 3. I want to get off it. Either we have that single receiver throw, or we want to run the football inside. Okay? Go ahead and hustle to the film clip. So, rule number 1, we talked about protecting numbers. So, just looking at this film right now. So, stop it after the motion runs, and so we'll see how we do with the PowerPoint video system. So, right now in the motion, all of a sudden that 6-man box just turned into a 7-man box. And so we no longer have numbers to run our inside zone weak. So we're blocking the end, so our quarterback's got to understand we got 6 for 6, and now he's got to find a perimeter throw because we no longer have numbers to run it. Go ahead and hit it. All right, so he ends up standing, just throwing the hitch down here at the bottom. We get 4, maybe 5, and it's not the greatest looking football play in the world, but our quarterback did a great job of attacking a matchup. Their kid executed, made a good play, got him on the ground. But the most important thing is we attacked the area of the formation that we should. Next slide, coach. All right, look right here. So if you look down to the 2 receiver side, again, we're running inside zone weak, which inside zone weak's become my new favorite RPO. Look, we used to run it with some slice action, but junior college, I haven't met a defensive end that will squeeze yet. So now we really like to scoop that guy in the backside to make sure he's not going to run upfield and affect our quarterback. But right now, we got 3 for 2. I have no interest in throwing the ball down here. We're pressed up top. We got a 6-man box. We're good. We need to run this football. All right, so quarterback decides he's going to pull it out, whether he completed the football or not. We'd be going back on film saying, hey, this is the wrong decision. This is the wrong rep. This ball needs to go inside. Right? You need to do your job. You need to execute, quarterback. Next play. All right, so we're going power into the boundary. So power, we can block 6 right here. We can get that done. Now, to the top, they got 2 for 2 more, and so we have no real interest in throwing that ball to the top. The one guy, if we're protecting numbers, is this guy right here. So our quarterback on this mesh should have eyes on that alley player, and if he triggers, then he should be throwing the ball to the perimeter. Go ahead, coach. He doesn't, and as a result, look who gets into play and makes it. Run it one more time if you would. So again, your job as a quarterback is to figure out who that extra hat is and protect numbers. That's your first job, first and foremost. We're going power strong to a 2 tight end surface up top. Quarterback now, since he's in the pistol, he's not going to be able to read this thing. Go ahead and run it. 1 high look. We can block this thing, but he's worried about that weak side alley player who ends up blitzing, stands up, throws the hitch to the boundary, and that's a good job of quarterback seeing that pressure coming, recognizing numbers, and attacking it. So number 2, punishing defenses that don't align properly. So I want to throw some clips of us doing it right, us doing it wrong, give you an idea of both. Here we go. So we got inside zone weak. Obviously, there's some free access throws down here, but a defense that's clearly not lined up properly to our formation. Quarterback recognizes it. I thought maybe the ball would go to the inside hitch here, but he ends up taking the outside hitch, and we get our easy yardage. All right, receiver does a nice job yakking it. Now, same thing right here. If you're punishing a defense who's not lined up, we can all look visually and be like, well, this alley player is super tight. It's 1 high, so what's that mean? 1 high, the corner has to back up. He's got no safety on the hash, no possibility of him squatting in the flat. This ball needs to go to the perimeter all day long. Go ahead and run it, coach. It doesn't, and now we got hats in there that we're not going to be able to block, and we're losing out on just a free access. That could have been an explosive play for us. All right, versus this look right here. We're going to motion to trips. And so anytime we get into trips, we're telling our quarterback, where's number 3 come from? Go ahead and pause it, coach. So I know it's not the easiest interface. So right now, after the motion, number 3, that safety never adjusts, right? So because number 3 is coming from depth, our quarterback makes a decision that he's going to key it and get the ball to the perimeter late. Go ahead and run the play. And so that's ultimately what's going to determine that we get the ball on the perimeter right there. All right, we got another one. So we're going to motion. We have power coming strong. We got a nub tight end. We can block the 6 in the box. We can't block this corner. Furthermore, number 3 is playing from depth. We would love this ball to go to the trips up top. Instead, we give it, and we're going to be a hat short, and look who eventually folds in and makes the play. You know, we do get some yards on this, and you have to make evaluations on the defense, on your back's ability, et cetera, but those are some of our considerations in the RPO game. All right, passing responsibilities. How are we doing for time? 15. Awesome. Pass game responsibilities. Number 1 job as a passer is to get completions. All right? If you're going to throw an RPO, if you're going to throw a drop back, whatever, if you're not getting completions, I was a wing tee quarterback. I worked for a wing tee guy. Coach Stewart's still in my ear telling me to run the football even on game days. And so if you, like, I came from a system, you know, sometimes we get guys that come into our system, they're throwing RPOs willy-nilly, like there's no value to the football. Like, when I was in high school, if I missed the hitch in the first quarter, I wasn't throwing the ball again until the second half. So I understand the value of getting completions. If you're going to throw the football, you have to get completions. That's your job, number 1 job as a passer. So I'll talk about how we coach some of those things. All right, so we have our quarterback call our pass protection. We have 2 rules. And so we have a really simple protection. I love it. I learned it from Coach Gastkamp, Panhandle State. One of the cool parts about being there with him, even though it was a D2 program, he had a lot of stuff that I was seeing, I was learning with him, and then I'd see it on Sundays. I'd see it at the Division I level on Saturdays. All right, so 2 rules in pass protection. Number 1, we slide away from our eyes. Number 2, if we see any blitz developing, we slide it towards the SHIT, all right? If you see anything going on, slide the protection that way, and I'll explain to you why. All right, next slide, please, Coach. All right, so for us, we drop back quick game, we have 1 protection, right? It goes 2 different ways. Rip, rock, same rules. The only differences for the O-line, rip, short word, short set. That's our quick game. Rock, longer word, deeper set. All right, we keep it that simple. Our back, depending on the concept, may free release, he may check release, he may stay. O-line doesn't need to know that. Their job is to take the 5 most dangerous defenders based on our protection rules. So, rip or rock, CBA. The only way you blow a slide protection is getting your eyes out of your gap. Keep your eyes in your gap, give hand help backside if no one's there, and then we're taking backside 1 and 2 on the line of scrimmage. So the beauty of this protection is you're great to the slide side, because what makes a quarterback hot, they have to bring both backers, which that's a heavily invested blitz. You're going to see that coming. Most defensive coordinators are not willing to bring both their inside and alley from the same side. All right? Versus where you're susceptible is to the man side. If either one of these guys go, you're hot because we don't have anyone to protect for them. So that's why we want you to slide the protection away from your eyes, because if I'm throwing left, I think I'm throwing left, and I slide the protection right, my blind side's covered, so when I'm dropping back doing this, I'm going to see that pressure come, and we had hot routes when I was in college, and we never got them right. I coached at the junior college level. Between our ability to learn and the time we have, we will never, ever put in a hot concept. Oh, well, you have a curl, but if he does this, you're going to run the speed up. No. We have quickest, shortest throws built into every play. Our quarterback needs to know what that is. And so that's our hot concept. That's how we answer the blitz. So here's our pass protection. So first is rock. So you got your slide to the right. Just go ahead and run it. You got your slide to the right, CBA, backside 1, backside 2, and that's our protection. One more time, Coach. So again, full slide. We're manned up there, which is why our guard chases. Our tackle's able to cut the end, and we're off and running. So that's our base protection without a blitz look. Next slide. All right, so we have thrown quick game to the right, which, again, our rule is we're sliding it away from our eyes. And so if our rule is I'm throwing right, I'm sliding it left, because now if 28 blitzes or I get anything off the edge that I don't know is coming, we're going to be able to pick it up. But if we get a blitz off the side my eyes are coming to, who's coming free, I'm going to see him and be able to beat him with my eyes. So you're going to see a good example of this right here. So why we have this rule? Our quarterback had no idea the 28 blitz. Go ahead and run one more time, please, Coach. He had no idea 28 blitz. The ball came out quick, but if we got in a situation where he's holding the football, we have that 5-man pressure picked up, and he doesn't need to know necessarily the 28 blitz, right? Next slide. Same type of thing. They did 45. They're supposed to pinch, and 45 is supposed to wrap. It's not a great blitz, but it's a good look. He wants to throw the hitch in the boundary, so he rips the protection to the right, and so rips the protection to the right. He's throwing the ball left. He never sees this blitz coming, but we're going to be able to pick it up, and the ball goes in the boundary, and we're safe. All right, so just conceptually, that's what we're trying to get to. I'll show you when it doesn't work well. So our other rule, number one, was slide the protection away from your eyes. The only thing that overrides it is slide it towards the stuff going on. All right, so right now, this is the first play of the game. We're going to motion away, and as we motion, they're going to start to show their blitz coming. So right now, the quarterback's already called Liz, and he should, hey, rip, because he sees this linebacker walking up. If he rips this thing, we're going to have 3 for 3, and we're going to be protected. The second he Liz's this thing, we're going to take the 2 most dangerous, which are going to be the down lineman. He's got a linebacker blitzing from 2 yards, and you're going to see how this thing comes to fruition. It doesn't work out well for us. All right, so we got a chance to hit this thing, run down the sideline. First play of the game, we don't. I think there's an end zone clip with it, Coach. Go ahead and run it. Yep. So the thing is, you know, having your quarterback call protection, it's not overly complicated, I don't think, especially if you give them simple parameters. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, against this front, blah, 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 blah. Just those are your 2 rules. But it allows you to, I said you had a master's in PowerPoint. It allows your quarterback, the opportunity to make himself safe in situations, especially as your quarterback grows throughout your system. All right, so again, our slides to the left. I don't know what our left guard's doing there, but there it is. So the way we coach the quarterback. So when I was going through studying all the high-level guys, I quickly realized that Peyton Manning was never reading 5 guys. Peyton Manning was saying, like, his favorite play was that he would run all the time. Levels, right? So he's got the 12, 14-yard dig with a 5-yard in, and they'd go curl, seam, flat on the left side. 1 high, he was going seam, curl, flat. That's where the ball was going. 2 high, he was going dig to in. That's where the ball was going. If he was getting blitzed, come hell or high water, forget the leverage of the corner, he was getting the ball out of his hand. Elite quarterbacks do not read 5 guys. They do not read a bunch of guys. They look at the defense, and they say to themselves, you know what, I'm going here to here, or I'm going here to here to here. All right, they have a plan. If they get some sort of rotation, they adjust it, but they make the game really simple. And so that's how we, I used to be like, hey, we'd run all slants, but if it's 1 high, you got to check the slant arrow, paralysis by analysis. Now, we try and go with a little bit of tempo, and it's 1 high, 2 high. So we have 1 high, 2 high, blitz or man. The first 3 are the ones that matter. If you're a baller and you can recognize the difference between man and 1 high, more power to you. But the first 3 you got to recognize are 1 high, 2 high, blitz and man. So I'll show you how this works. Okay, so here's a concept for us, 61. Keep going there, Coach. All right, so hit the next slide so we can see it. So our 2 high concepts to the right. If it's 2 high, we're playing smash. We're playing hitch corner, and our check down would be this right here. If we get a 1 high look, we're inside curl, outside curl, flat. If we're getting blitzed, the ball's going right here. If we get a man look and we know it, we want the corner route. That's our man beater on the play. Make it really, really simple and concise for your quarterback so they can play fast. All right, so there's our 1 high filter. Hit it. 2 high filter. Blitz. Boom, get the ball out of your hand right now. Don't think. You see that blitz coming? We slid the protection left. Here it comes. Stand up. Boom, get the ball out. Know where your quickest throw is. The reason they blitz you as a quarterback, the reason I think a defensive coordinator blitzes you as a quarterback is because he's saying you are not a good enough player, and I think I can send a rush and get there before you figure it out and get the ball out of your hand. All right? When the blitz comes, get the ball out of your hand. And so go to the video. So here's 61. We got 61 2 highs. I believe the smash is coming from the boundary here. So quarterback gets a 2 high look. He's reading, hits the corner. Corner softens up. I think it's 3rd and short, and we pick up the first down. All right, so just, again, that's real simple, real concise. That's your read. Play fast. Let's go. Get the ball out of your hand. Next clip. All right, same look. We got 61 versus 2 high. The smash concept's down here to the bottom. All right, you're going to read the corner. Corner sits. We reset. Throw the corner route. It'd be nice if we caught that one. All right, now we're getting blitz. He's not as decisive with this as I would like him to be, but we slid the protection. Here comes the blitz. Stand up, get the ball to the hitch. Here comes the 5-man pressure. He climbs. He's a little slow, but eventually he gets there. Ball gets out of his hand. We beat the blitz, and we're good to go. So build it, and now here's our 1 high look. So on the motion here, inside curl, he didn't like it, gets the outside curl, finds a window, sticks it in there, we're playing 1 high. So that's how we coach our quick game, our drop back game, and try and build those things into play, allow them to play real fast. 54, we'll just show you the concept real quick. Okay, go for it, Coach. All right, so again, it's just smash. We got slant flat on the other side. 1 high, we're playing slant flat. 2 high, we're playing smash. Go ahead and roll the video. Appreciate it. All right, so here it is right here. So right now we get a 1 high look. We should be playing slant flat up top. We read arrow, force him to stretch. If he does, bang the slant, catch the football. But again, we allow our guys to play fast. Now here's a great example. It's a 2 high look. Quarterback makes the wrong read. He plays slant flat up top. Into a quarters look, that becomes a really congested, unsound concept. And, we missed the throw, but that's a dead football play on paper. So if he comes down here and plays smash and run it one more time, we're in business. So by giving our guys very simple, concise rules, we're able to evaluate them fairly and correctly and also allow them to have success on the football field. All right, 54 versus 2 high. This time our guy gets it right, sees a 2 high look, plays the smash up top. Corner sits, we throw the corner out, and there you go. All right, keep it rolling. So just some quick thoughts on situational game planning. I won't go into this too much, but really my core belief as a coordinator, first and second down, that's where we're running our base offense. First and second down, you run your base offense, you run the stuff that you do all through the off-season, camp, et cetera, et cetera. Third down, red zone, those are your game plan calls. They absolutely can be stuff that you run all the time, but I'll tell you what I'm never going to do. If we got 3rd and 3 for the game or 4th and goal from the, our 2-point play for the game, I'm going to have something week to week that I feel like is money in the bank, where we've really game planned somebody and I'm going to put my coaching career on this call. Of course, sometimes you're not going to get right, whatever it may be, but what I don't want to call is just double slant. I'm going to have a look, a throwback, something, some sort of boot play that we really believe in, a code word call. Hey, this week, this is Vegas right here. Vegas is, we're doing this. So that's kind of my thoughts as you build your game plan through the week. So game plan by formation, 3 by 1, it's all about what suits your eye. Like, if you like how they aligned to 2 by 2 and you want to run the ball and allows you to do that, be in 2 by 2 all game long. If you get in 3 by 1 and they don't adjust to the trips and you like that, get in that formation. All I really do when I'm game planning is I roll through formations and say, I like how they line up to that. That suits our eye. That suits our offense. That makes me feel comfortable. Or if it's not, it's a formation that we're not going to run this week. Okay? We'll go to the last couple slides. So when it comes to game plan, though, it's just listen, if I have one play for my life, there's going to be fly sweep in front of it. All right? Fly sweep is the greatest thing going. We don't run it every play, but we will attach it to any play with fly sweep. It just gets better. So here's some examples. So this is a 3rd and 3 call, and we're running inside zone it's inside zone plus. We got the extra hat, but it's just eye candy in front of it. So the way we run our fly sweep, we have Z and we have H are our 2 guys off the ball. Action words mean you're getting the ball in the fly sweep. So zoom, you're getting the ball. Zen, you're faking it. So for us, this call would be left duck close, Zen 10. So the only guy on here that's doing anything different than our O-line run the ball is just that guy that's going to Zen in front of it. Where if we were wanting to give him the ball, it would be zoom. All right, go to the next play here. This was a look that was awesome for us this year. I don't know why it kept popping, but we're in 11 personnel. We're going to go fly motion, and we would run a good amount of power read back to the 2 receiver side here. But we kept running power off this, and it pops here. And go ahead and from the end zone look. And so the beauty of fly motion on all this stuff is it steals players' eyes. So we're running power back away from it, and that linebacker is going to flash for a second, especially undisciplined players. All of a sudden, they lose vision on their read keys, and now they're a step slow, step late reacting to that run play. All right, next play. So this is the same look here, literally identical look. This ends a football game for us. And these kids play it pretty well. You see the linebacker fits are really, really good right there. But, it forces reaction, it takes eyes, and it sets a standard of expectation for that defense that you can really run some counter stuff off, which we'll get to here. Go ahead and run this one again. So again, we're just going power strong. One of the things we talk about on that motion, if it's a Zen, don't be as tight on that mesh. The defense isn't going to tell if you're a yard in front of the quarterback versus a good normal mesh to make sure that thing clears out. All right, so 14 is our power read. Our quarterback's a dude. He is a special kid. He's going to be, keeps passing classes. He's going to be a big-time recruit. And so, I'm a good coach when he's running power read. I'm not a good coach when some other guys are running power read. But 14's been awesome for us. But again, it's off that fly action. Go ahead and go to the next clip. Same thing here. Now we're going power read back in the boundary with the back leading, keying that D end. And riding, reading. On your power read, one thing that really helped us is getting that quarterback to get to the tackle. If he gets to the tackle and gets 2 to 3 bounces in, he's going to be right most of the time on that read. If he just gets one bounce, it's not enough time to read it, and now he's just completely guessing. Hit the end zone on that. So you can get a pretty good look here. All right, does a good job riding, making the decision, and then big athletic kids help a lot. Next one. So 14, now we're going to give it. He's going to read the end here. When we're blocking anything on the perimeter, it's man on outside shoulder. We're always attacking the outside shoulder because every defensive player in the world has to fit up outside. The end sits, we give it. Guys do a nice job of getting to the outside shoulder, and we're off and running. Do we have an end zone here? Go ahead and run it. All right, so now, off that, here comes the counter action, right? And so one of the beauties of fly motion is you dictate, you force a fast reaction, and they're expecting certain things. Go ahead and run it, coach, and now you can get action off of it. So here comes just our wrap counter play with the guard kicking out. Run it one more time. The guard kicks out. Now the tackle is going to, the tight end is going to wrap for play side backer. Run it, coach. Go to the next slide. Sound like BCU back there, coach. All right, good look there. And so, again, that action is just stealing eyes. It's freezing. It's forcing that safety rotation. So some other looks we like off it. Here comes the same action now, and they've seen us run heavy off fly motion action. So here comes the perimeter screen. That was actually, I think that was a first down call right there. We also hit something similar on a third down play. Go to the next one. Well, we can watch it one more time. Good bounce, good sell. One thing our quarterbacks weren't doing a great job early is getting the ball snapped so you can really get a good ride on that motion. If it snaps late, it happens so fast that no one's really influenced. And so now here's some of the pass looks off it. We're showing power read back into the boundary. Got about 2 or 3 clips left here. So that hard play action, get some vertical looks. This was a look we flat out missed. We had a built-in slant if the quarterback liked the matchup backside and they really rotated. And so there's no reason. It would have been really nice if we played the front side and got that walk-in look. All right, next clip. Off this action, double post. Double post is a great look off this. We could have gotten the ball to the tight end there on the inside post, but he ends up going outside and throwing a good ball. And so there's just so many, and when you need a big play, critical situation, here's a big, I can't remember if this is a 2-point conversion situation or just a 3rd and 4th and goal type of look, but the boot action coming off that power read, slipping that guy out. So there's just a lot of different variations. That's really just our normal boot call and those different things. So I'll be around up here. Really appreciate you guys sticking it out. It's awesome that it wasn't just me in the room here today. It's been an honor to speak to you guys. I'd love to help you out. There's some copies of a book up there. First, whoever wants to grab them, feel free. There's my information. I'd love to connect with you. So I'll be staying up here, hanging out. Thank you guys very much.